Okay, I'm satisfied with that mic check, so let's just go ahead and cover this. This is the TLDR version kind of for the other one, but really I'm just going to title this one what I was supposed to title the other one, which is what Smilegate expects from you in the year 2025. So I guess you're looking at kind of a lot so far. We'll, flip the camera off for a second, kind of let you see everything. But yeah, so basically, I've actually even changed this and altered this even more. So if you guys remember, the original concept that I came out with was just looking at the overall range and guessing, and then obviously I had people who doubted it and came forward and allowed me to argue it and prove it, which always allows me to go deeper with it, because every time I have to re-explain it, teach it, or go deeper with it to, prove somebody wrong, we learn more. And I said this a long time ago for, new people, that the math is the math at the end of the day, so I don't have to know the exact math. As long as we can get to the exact math, as long as I can make an extreme example out of it, it'll still be somewhat correct. So the extreme example was clearly 1730. And then even now we're seeing 1710, other than with the two advanced toning levels that you would have by that point, which makes it more reasonable, is a little bit, far. So 1730, I think we can completely cross out. And I was even thinking, because of the framework of the other content that they followed, like horizontal, again, what I've been saying for a very long time now, before any of the content creators were saying it. Keep in mind, I was saying they were going horizontal. Just want to, I know I glaze, but I have to. I have to. I'm sorry. It's important, because the only thing I have on these other guys isn't view count, isn't sub count. It's the fact that I said shit first. And if that bothers you, I apologize. But either way, I think what your goal is because it's horizontal content, and I was thinking about how they did things before. They went, 1580, 1600, 1610, 1620, 16. Or no, I'm sorry, 1580, 1600, 1600, 1620, 1610, 1630, 1620, 1630, 1640. So because of their scheme before, I actually think what they're going to do is give us a normal mode 1680, and a hard mode 1700. And then I think the flat raid that I mentioned before, the 1710, will be the clown raid potentially. I'm still sticking with that because I already said it, and that's the point. You stay with what you say. But yeah, so the clown raid, I say, well, I'll change the eye level thing because that's important to you guys. So I'm not changing my cheesy predictions like clown coming next, because I don't really care if I'm wrong about that. But this one's important, and that's why I'm getting the video out sooner than later, so you guys can prepare properly for it this time. And by going through the math again and again, I'm identifying, basically you would use your advanced toning at 1670 and up for the best value. It's actually 1680 and up, 1690 and up. It's really 1690 to 1710, if I'm being honest, if I'm correct. But yeah, so essentially the next piece of content would be 1680 normal, 1700 hard mode more likely, because horizontal closer together, and then we would finally get a 1710 or 1700 flat content. And then we would go to kazeros, which would be the gear transfer, so you would have to achieve something crazy like 1730 probably, which is plus 22, 23 or something like that. I forget what it would be. I don't think they're going to make us push that. I think that's where they'll find the eye level transfer somehow for us, and I don't know how that'll come about. It could just be more advanced toning. It could be, who knows. If it is more advanced toning, then that does mean doing your advanced toning sooner than later was better. Doing it in tier 3 would be the best option at that point. So if they give us more advanced toning, then doing T3 advanced toning was actually the G play. I'm going to say it now. Not because of savings and optimization, but because whatever this new system is that you're getting, you won't be able to do it for so fucking long. Like if you put your resources into one. Or maybe not. Maybe not. I'm not going to cut that. But let's just continue, because I don't want to have to have too many cuts here. But let's see. Okay, so now that we've covered that, though, that I do think the next raid's eye levels are going to change, and I covered all the eye levels of what I think the next 3 pieces of content are going to be, because in the other video I covered all the possibilities, whereas in this one I'm only going to be covering what I actually believe in. So I do believe kazeros will be 3rd. So what I think you should be working on in this phase between 1024 and 125, I do think it's possible that we get Brell in December. I also think it's more likely we get it in January, maybe potentially the beginning of January. So with that being said, that was 3 or 4 months between content, more than enough time to farm natural farmable materials. As we said before, it was about 17 weeks as on the high end, right? So really realistically 12 to 14 with events. Now, that being said, I would say this is the work on your foundation phase, as I've said in the past, is because, just a quick draw out, I actually didn't want to do this, but we are going to do this real quick, and just go ahead and do that. Let's just do this. Basically, it's because this gets split up, and you have the short push, which is 1580 and 1640 to what is it, 1600. I'm so stupid. 1600 and 1660, right? And then you have the 80 push. I think you guys get where I'm going with this. And that 70 seems like dead value, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I don't know why they made the normal 70 for Bro. That seems really insane. Like, that's dead value. I mean, I think actually I can kind of conclude why they did it is because you would be pushing your alts. Like, dude, I swear to God, they watch my fucking videos. But they want you to push your alts. So fuck you, Jukel, and everybody who stole my concept of 3-1 or 2-1 and then didn't give me credit because you're all a bunch of pieces of shit. But then in addition to not giving me credit, you ended up being wrong again. Anyways, this is what I love, is that they keep flipping the game on you guys in a weird way, and that you guys keep sticking with whatever the old pattern was and not realizing that they micro change some of it to make it better, if anything. But yeah, so but yeah, they want you to work on your alts here. If you have them, because you don't need them anymore, right? But they want you to work on your alts, get your alts to 1660 altogether, get all your characters to 1680 altogether, and then once at 1680, the 1680 push upwards is where you should start focusing on one main character and getting one system done at a time. So back to this other chart, getting one system done at a time, starting to get your Agar system completed, and that's what I'm trying to say. So I wouldn't actually do your Agar system until 125 or later, straight up. Like, if you're doing it before Brel comes out, I get it, you want to do the content, but you don't really need to. You just really don't need to if you don't want to. And if you do, congratulations, I'm happy for you, but you're going to pay more for it. That's all I'm trying to say. Do your thing. You do your thing. You put the playtime in you want to. But yeah. Either way, that would be when you would need it, right? Because the damage boost that you're getting from Agar is only relevant for Brel and Agar hard, I would say. And that's something I didn't really include here. But remember how in the other video a long time ago we drew out, Agar normal would help you do Agar hard? Well, in this case, it's actually Agar normal. Stick with me, right? Just stay with me, guys. Agar normal will give you the power boost that you need to then do Brel normal easier, which will then give you the power boost to do Agar hard easier, which will then give you the boost to do Brel hard easier, preparing you for the next content. And that's also why I think it would be 1680, or actually why I originally thought 1700 flat. I really think I should stick with 1700 flat. I'm not even kidding. It just seems like such a good prediction. I'm going to regret taking that back. But yeah, I'll stick with it, 17 flat. Or not stick with it. I'm still going to change it because it's more important for you guys than it is for me. And you can always push that. Remember, you can always push later, so it doesn't matter. Like, if you have the materials now, you have it then. But yeah, I would definitely push your characters to as alts through this range together, side by side. It's worth it. And know your means. So if you're playing, I would argue, because I've done this math so many fucking times. I would argue that you could probably play 1 to 3 characters 10 hours a weekish, 10 to 15 hours ish a week. 6 characters, 30 or more, 40 or more hours, right? And I was being pretty comfortable with the 15 even for the 3, but yeah, it's just for perspective. You could play 2 characters probably 10 hours a week guaranteed. Do you know what I mean? And you would definitely progress slower than somebody who's playing significantly more, but they're also playing significantly more. You know what I mean? There's still that 3-to-1 time value thing, though, so that you can play 3 characters and just completely rest all 3. And people are all going to be like, the shards. Shut the fuck up. Shut up. Tell those kids to shut up. Shards are the bottleneck, yeah, for the people pushing. Why are we pushing? You anticipate that the content releases will just keep fucking jumping out at us like this? Okay. Cool. I know where their deductive reasoning's at, and it's in the garbage. But anyways, yeah, so this phase is about eye level. It's about getting your characters. Yeah, I already said it here. You know what I mean? So get your characters to the parking spots. We know for sure that there's a Guardian at 80, right? And that would be the second Guardian. So we know there's at least a third Guardian in this tier, or in this bracket of small stones. So it's guaranteed 1700. I know I'm right. There's no way it's 1710. It's too far. And 1690 it could be, but like, why wouldn't they have already just given it to you, kind of thing? Do you know what I mean? By the time it comes to our version, I might get nerfed down to it. Who knows? But anyways, between Brel and then, okay, so let's talk about the next phase, because I just spent 10 minutes talking about that phase. It's supposed to be 10 minutes. Okay, I noticed that I have the inability to cut things short. So I'm going to try and just do another quick clip and say that, yeah, so you should be parking at, obviously 1680, which we already discovered, but I think the next rate will be 1680. I'll just keep that part. I won't cut that. Let's just go to the next phase. So after the Brel content, what I would probably do, it would probably come out around 0625 for us. And this isn't for KR, because KR, they can just use whatever I'm saying now for their version. But yeah, anyways, 0625 is probably when we'll get it. And by then, I would probably think that you would keep your roster at 1680. You would want to have your roster at 1680 and have it finished. Like, I would push that. That would be where I'd cap that. That would be my cap for the end game of the phase, right? And then finish your Agar system completely. Like, before we go into whatever's after Brel, so 2 pieces, if it is Kazeros, you definitely need to finish your Agar system by this point. And your Brel Karma system, you don't have to have it complete, I don't think. I think that you could have your Brel Karma system maybe be 50% to 75%, or even less potentially. I don't know what their standard is, or what the numbers actually look like, and still be able to get through the content relatively fine. So the gatekeeping should be reasonable here. Especially, like I said, Agar normal makes Brel normal easier. Brel normal makes Agar hard easier. Agar hard makes or Brel normal or Brel hard easier, etc., etc. Okay, so then there's one more thing I want to cover at the end of all this too. And keep in mind the eye levels that are on the screen actually I think are wrong, because I'm sitting here looking at them and I wrote 1680, 1690, 1660. Yeah, but it's still kind of true. Like, it says 1680 for the normals, but that's not really what I'm saying. It's going for the park spots. It's the Guardians, obviously. And because of the long phase, the longer phase is going to be, like we said, here, from 1680 up, basically. That's why it justifies pushing alts together in this phase and then focusing in this phase where it actually has to kind of be done. Natural progression checks for the most part. It even checks down here too. It's just, I'm going to talk about one more thing too when it comes to pitying as well. So natural progression checks here too. It's just scaling, and we'll get there. But anyways, so then we'll talk about the last piece of content. So this would be preparing for basically Kazeros, which would be 9, 10, 25. So this is where I say that you have to have kind of everything done. Just like every other eye level piece of content, to get into a con, to get into anything that's giving you eye level. Ordinarily, you did actually, usually, traditionally, Brel have to have kind of whatever that last phase gave you for damage boost, or you were pretty close to the damage thresholds. And in this case, I don't see it differing too much because it's Kazeros. I hate to say it. If Damien was badass, then Kazeros has to be badder, right? Or we beat him through a loophole. Like, that's the only weird thing I can think of. It's like, it would be fucked up we don't even fight him. Like, what a fucking tease. What a dick tease fucking that would make Smilegate. We don't even fight him. We beat him by, like, magic or something. I don't know. But anyways, in this last phase, you would want to be completing your Brel system, Karma system completely. You would want to be getting, not best in slot jewelry necessarily, but definitely getting decent jewelry, maybe in the 100k to 150k range for jewelry. And then I would say your Agar system should be way fucking done. So your arc passive should be completely filled out by this point. And really, you should just be finishing, hopefully, the system that came out after Brel. So whatever the gold sync, whatever the damage spike was after Brel, finishing that system. And like I said, being prepared for Kazeros. And then it's really just an eye level jump. So we'll be going into the next phase, which is just rinsing and repeating. So we'll do this exact same process again. We will get armor and eye level, and we will start off at the low farm, low cost, and move our way up to the high farm, high cost through periodical stopping points where it's good for our alts to actually give good return on investment, even though people have said a million times it's not, but it is, because they're just silly. They don't get value per item. They only get value per gold. Their brains are small, but it's okay. Anyhow, one more thing I forgot to mention, or 2 more things actually, would be, this is important. So between this phase, it's like 5 to 15% farm. You're getting less, like 17k shards. Between this phase, you would be getting whatever that next dungeon is, probably 80, 60 or 80. So you're getting more, I think 20 to like 30k, 40k, something like that shards. So you're getting 15 to 20%. And then I'm thinking whatever the dungeon is that's coming out when they're about to get KR will be 1700, right? They'll only get 1 chaos dungeon more likely than not. More to be said on that too, because but anyways, they'll get probably 1 dungeon, and it's because it'll be giving them 65 to 70% of the farm, meaning that like this will be probably 3 to 4x this, and like 10x this. And I'm exaggerating, right? We'll probably see more accurate numbers as we get closer. And that's not even true, because there should be 2 more Chaos Dungeons, technically. And since there should be technically 2 more Chaos Dungeons and 2 more Guardian Raids, that number should actually get split. So I'm thinking double, maybe 40%, and then 40%, 40, 50, 60, something, something like that. These numbers are probably funky, but that's okay. And then the one more thing I wanted to show would be maxroll, actually, because I think I have an interesting concept to show you guys. It's pretty important. Let's make sure you can see it. And I think this is important, and I think it kind of goes, like, people kind of miss this sometimes, but we're just going to talk about this range for a second, right? To go from 40 to 60, I think that's 40, right? Yeah, so from 40 to 60, and what it costs. And what we're going to do is we're going to do the best case scenario, i.e. one tapping, and show kind of what it would cost us. And then we're going to go into the worst case scenario. So if you pity this range, this is what we're looking at, right? And now we're going to do it on a microcosmic level because just easier to understand sometimes. And just to make sure that I'm correct, let's do that again. Yep. Okay. So pitying one piece, right, is a lot at this range, 110%. But what I'm trying to put into perspective here, and why I call this the longer phase, essentially, of farming, and I identify it with getting more of the materials, right, because that's kind of what's happening. Can I get a color? Thank you. More of the materials, right? Long farm expensive. Which one was it? This one? Why I'm saying these things and why it's really important is because if you're pitying in this range compared to, which should be obvious, and it's going to be obvious once said, though, pitying in this range, and actually let's just get this so we can see what we're looking at. 1690. Okay. Now we don't want to pity this whole thing. That's not what I'm trying to show. I'm trying to show 4 levels for 4 levels, basically. So that, see the difference? Do you see the cataclysmic difference in pitying between those two different ranges? So it's more important to save materials for when you have to make these pushes and to funnel at these ranges than it is to do it in these ranges, because these ranges you're more likely than not going to get through on your own and without too bad of a cost in the grand scheme of it comparatively. So just my 2 cents. I don't think you guys are playing this right per usual. I think making alts will still work. I think getting them to 1660 and then getting them to, and you're going to say the gold and also shush, they're increasing our gold. Stop it. I just think it's the right way to go in this beginning part of the phase. Even if you only get 1 or 2 more 1680s, even if you only get 1 or 2 more characters, it's still an alt phase in the beginning of this phase, and then per usual you'll be pushing your characters in the phase where it matters the most, and that's why a gold sync makes sense next to, because it has to be a power spike. But yeah, I hope that makes sense, especially with this, because it really does make like a big ass difference, even if you're just doing that plus 18 versus plus like 11 plus 14 even. Do you know what I mean? It's literally like double. It's a lot. It really is a lot. And I know, there's still the one tap scenario, but let's be realistic. Let's just be realistic. And that's not even really the concept that matters. The concept here is that the reason they give you more materials than they have to is because they know the pity window here is bigger. That's also why it matters less in this phase for eye level and more for the systems that you're working on, because they know that the eye level is going to take a while. It's a mathematical design of their game. So it's the long phase, the long farm. I now broke it down for you. You can either trust me or you can expect another TLDR or whatever the fuck you guys expect. I don't know. But this is it. That's all you got to listen to. So just a quick rundown, quick summary. I'll pause and summarize. So the quick summary is by 125, I would want to have characters, at 1660 and maybe potentially have their beginning of their Aegir system being worked on. Then by 0625, I would want to have the Aegir system more closer to complete, have the characters pushing towards 1680 or at least close to 1680, even if it's only 2 characters. Okay, even if you're only doing a 2-character alt, really, for the most part. And then, or even 1 character, really, like just 1 character, because it's natural progression. That's what we're sticking with here and following. And then by 0910, so by September of 2025, I'm sorry, 0910, by September or October of next year, 2025, you would want to have all of the systems that they gave us completed, even the system that comes after Bro, whatever gold system it might be, whatever damage system it might be, because we'll probably be getting kazeros at the end of the year, and it will make you'll need the power. 9 out of 10 times you'll need the power to clear the content. So that's it. I broke it down. If I'm wrong, hey, it is what it is. But yeah, so I think 1680 normal, 1700 hard, 1700 flat, 1710 kazeros with 1700 normal maybe. Yeah, that would make sense. Maybe 1690 hard for flat for the other one. Somebody said that they saw like a 1685 or a 95 thing happening because like they found the efficiency point where you would start using advanced toning. But I think that that's thinking too deep. Sometimes you're going too deep with it, and that's that moment. And that's funny coming from me. I'm not gonna lie, but no, they want simple. They want simple. They're tired of doing too much work on their end too. And I think that's why some of you guys aren't getting it, is because you guys are expecting some crazy shit from them, and they're really not giving you anything crazy. This is a rinse and repeat of all the other systems that they've had. Yeah. But that's it. So I'll catch you guys in the next one. That's the TLDR. Hopefully that helps out. And you don't have to listen to me. You don't have to trust me. You can figure it out on your fucking own. But historically, go check out my videos and then go look at patches and updates and go check out other people's content and videos in the past. And you tell me who's more accurate about the game. Was it, I'm going to call him Big Pharma, was it big streamers and big content creators, or was it the dude that nobody wanted to listen to? Just, you be the judge. But I'll catch you guys in the next one. Stay involved, like, comment, subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. Like, what are you doing? Why aren't you subscribed? That's, like, the real question. Why aren't you subscribed yet? Is the only question, actually.